How we doing, Gainesville? Thank you, every one of you, for coming out tonight. It's gonna be a very special night. Love seeing it when you guys show up. I got a big surprise earlier. They flew my dad in for the show. For anyone who didn't see, and I know some of you knew about it, and I'll deal with you later. I had no nerves until I was outside now and I just saw my dad squatting behind a wall. He's from Arkansas. What's he doing here? Anyway.
It's normal for Arkansas.
I'm going to play you guys a few songs. I hope you really enjoy it. That first song is called Breath. I wrote it for my little brother Chris. And what you're going to see is almost every song I've written, it belongs to someone. When I come up with a new melody or new rhythm, I usually think about someone. Usually someone close to me. I rarely think, hey Parker, you finally showed up. All of these songs belong to someone in one way or the other. That being said, this is called Memories. Well, this next song was supposed to be dedicated to my dad since it's his birthday, but I didn't realize he'd be here. I was going to go on a whole spiel about how he drove a truck and pastored a church for 20 years. He's also a pilot, been a cop for well over a decade, and like the best father ever. But since you're here, I can just tell you that. But guess what we're still doing?
Yeah.
Can we wish Tim a happy birthday?
Happy birthday! Heck yeah! Awesome!
This one's called Hair Trigger. strange tuning I found several years ago, and it has a Celtic sound to it, and I really like it. It's very open, and you can play up and down the neck and get some really cool voicings with it. This next song is called Breadhead, and it's for that bartender right there, Kate.
Yeah!
For the record, he named it. I did not. It's a shorter song, but I don't think you constantly have to be playing over the neck and slapping the guitar to prove your point. That song means a lot to me. Caleb was one of my very first friends. Can you believe it's been 10 years?
I really cannot, honestly.
February is 10 years, buddy. We're
Oh
old.
shit, we're old.
We're old.
We've had it hard.
You're not old. You're not old.
Cory. Like reverb.
Okay. We're having a good time. All right. This next one, Shine actually named many years ago. This one's called The Wait. These next two aren't really dedicated to anyone, nor are they finished. They're more of just like snippets and ideas I have that I've only had 2 years to finish but did not. So I hope you enjoy this one. This one's called Never Home.